was in here before. They were nice enough to leave us Dunkin' Donut coffees and also a studio that's 95 degrees. I maintain that everyone in the Bold Network is going through menopause. Even the dudes, because they look like they were retaining water and were sweaty yet cold. I watched Derek Waters was on yesterday, Drunk History. All around wonderful fella. It's nice to see people in that industry that are good people have a lot of success as well. There's not many of them. I mean, he's a complete sexual predator. Don't get me wrong. There is very few women in his industry and various others that he has not Me Too'd many times over. And our thoughts and prayers are with them and their families. But other than that, Derek is a wonderful, wonderful guy. I watched him on Seth Meyers last night. And normally on a show with video, I would have video. But I just thought of this, and I did not provide video because I suck. And I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even think this shirt goes with this blazer, quite frankly. Which is, I apologize. If anything, I'm Me Too'ing your eyes, your fashion sensibilities, your sense of self-worth. But anyway, Derek was on Seth Meyers. Let's get the collar out, shall we? There we go, that's better. And to watch him, I had to suffer through an interview with one John Lithgow. If any American actor is deserving of a night ship, it's not John Lithgow, even though he acts and thinks that he should. He is one pretentious dude. Seems like a lovely guy. I've enjoyed him in many films, but let me tell you something. I don't believe him to be a good actor. I think he has a good personality. He isn't. There's Derek. Good job, God. I've got the best crew in the history of cruise ship. There is Derek on with Seth. I have to say, he definitely cleaned up a little more than he did for our show. I'm a little offended by that. I do not recall the suit. I would also add that that is probably the one suit he owns. But he was on, I said in order to watch him, I had to watch Lithgow. And again, Lithgow is a delight, has many an anecdote, fun to watch. But you have to ask yourself, when have you ever seen Lithgow play anyone other than a version of the over-the-top bad guy in Cliffhanger? I'm talking about even him in Garp, when he was playing a chick. He is basically playing a highfalutin, weird, nondescript, accented, over-the-top dude. Every single role. I defy you, if you really think about it, I defy you to come up with a role that John Lithgow did that involves him being a good actor. My friend Jenny just got in. I've known that one since 5th grade. Can't wait to embarrass myself in front of her. Let's get to the... Well, first of all, before we get to the guests, I want to look at a car in Detroit sliding on some ice. Because you know what? I like cars in Detroit that slide on ice. Let's take a look. It was a tow truck driver.
Wound up on top of his truck. Would you look at how the police dash cam video caught this happening? The tow truck was pulled over on a highway in Detroit. You're loading up a car. It crashed earlier, and boom, you're in a crash all of a sudden.
That.
I seen the car losing control. Once I seen it, I stepped back. After that, I had to run.
I just know I was trying to get control of the car as much as I could. And that's when I noticed I was on top of the tow truck.
Hard to not notice that. One more time.
Because that's ice.
Here's the thing. I like cars, but I really like it when cars go boom. All right, I will have, while our guests come in, I will run tape of our first story as it involves two volatile personalities, both women, and both women that hate each other, so I always like that. Megyn Kelly basically addressed her comments to Jane Fonda about her plastic surgery, and let's go to that right now.
Word on Jane Fonda, who appears to be fixated on an exchange I had with her months ago on this show. You admit you've had work done, which I think is to your credit, but you look amazing. Why did you say, I read that you said you're not proud to admit that you've had work done. Why not?
We really want to talk about that?
Well, one of the things people think about when they look at you is how amazing you look.
Well, thanks. Good attitude, good posture, take care of myself. But let me tell you why
When she first complained publicly after the program, and repeatedly, I chose to say nothing, as my general philosophy is what other people think of me is none of my business. However, Fonda was at it again last week, including here on NBC and then again elsewhere, so it's time to address the poor me routine. First, some context. Fonda was on to promote a film about aging. For years, she has spoken openly about her joy in giving a cultural face to older women. Well, the truth is, most older women look nothing like Fonda, who is now 80. And if Fonda really wants to have an honest discussion about older women's cultural face, then her plastic surgery is tough to ignore. Fonda herself knows this. She knows this. And that is why, to her credit, she has discussed her cosmetic surgery pretty much everywhere before coming on our show.
last year I had plastic surgery, and I have been very public about it. I had to admit it. I feel so good. I'm so happy, and I didn't want to look kind of tired and jolly anymore. I feel so great and so rested, and I look so different, and I just decided, and I'm not proud of it, I decided I wanted to look more like how I feel.
And she said the same to Entertainment Tonight, to Access Hollywood, to W Magazine for a cover piece, to The Guardian. I could go on. Apparently, when she came here, however, again to promote her film about aging, I was supposed to discern that this subject was suddenly off limits. Look, I gave her the chance to empower other women, young and old, on a subject which she purports to know well, and she rejected it. That's okay. But I have no regrets about that question. Nor am I in the market for a lesson from Jane Fonda on what is and is not appropriate. After all, this is a woman whose name is synonymous with outrage. Look at her treatment of our military during the Vietnam War. Many of our veterans still call her Hanoi Jane. Thanks to her radio broadcast, which attempted to shame American troops. She posed on an anti-aircraft gun used to shoot down our American pilots. She called our POWs hypocrites and liars and referred to their torture as understandable. Even she had to apologize years later for that gun picture, but not for the rest of it. By the way, she still says she is not proud of America. So the moral indignation is a little much. She put her plastic surgery out there. She said she wanted to discuss the plight of older women in America. And honestly, she has no business lecturing anyone on what qualifies as offensive.
Hello, today's
Remind me,
Forget Megyn Kelly. Al Roker
I did
looks
such a
hot.
bad job of editing that video that you even saw the part where Al Roker says, if you want to see more Today shows on the YouTube. Starting on my left, my wonderful friend, who I've not seen in way too long, and I blame her for that, Barrett Swatek. She just finished a series called Yellowstone that premieres this summer on the new Paramount Network. And you can also see her now on the ABC comedy American Housewife. To her right, guys, I know my lefts and my rights. Chris Wilson, digital director of Maxim Magazine. Got a little scoop, don't you know? We'll talk about it later on, because that's what happens. You do one story, and then you do the next one, like an actual show. It's really happening right now. Cameras, the whole bit. I swear to God, guys, this is not my studio apartment. Noam Dworman, he is the owner of the legendary Comedy Cellar. He is also the host of one of my favorite podcasts. I listen to it all the time. Live from the Table. I really do. I love it. I'm actually going to ask you a couple questions about it. And my frequent co-host and all the time lover. Sorry, I just me too'd you. Married. Got a kid.
Well,
Thinks I'm a chick. It's a great writer, great editor, Samantha Judge. Thank you for coming last minute, Sam. I really appreciate it. You're the best. Yeah, actually, before we get into all things Jane Fonda and Megyn Kelly, got a little rush right there. I do love your podcast. And you know why? I was going to ask you about this.
Sure.
As someone who had done Red Eye and had a lot of comedians on for about 7 years, as you guys know, it is sometimes very difficult to get them to just talk and not do shtick. And you guys get into like some pretty heated and meaty subjects. Can subjects be meaty? Maybe not a vegan, but and that's like that takes a talent because they don't just sit there and do shtick. Like they get into it.
Yeah, well, we don't. There's some people who you can't stop them from doing that, and I just don't book them anymore.
Yeah, I can definitely tell that they're not normally on.
That's about half of them. Half of them can't resist getting their lines in, but the other half are normal people. They just want to talk about stuff, and they're funny. They can find a way to be funny in any conversation.
The really good comedians, and it's certainly nothing that I've made up, are just like kind of like our modern philosophers a little bit. So
Yeah,
they've always
the best
got an
ones.
opinion. Yeah, they've always got an opinion on everything. And I will get your guys' opinion on what we just saw Megyn Kelly and Jane Fonda wise. Barrett.
Did you just segue?
Yeah.
That was
Oh my God, that was passionate. I can't eat that. I won't even take that as a
I
compliment.
don't want to miss these moments to compliment you.
Are you wearing deodorant?
No.
Oh God,
Anybody's
I will take it.
wondering.
No, I will take it. Thank you for noticing. I've been working on
It
this.
was beautiful.
stuff.
It was worth it.
Barrett, wow! Do not cross Megyn Kelly. That was
She has a
unreal. What did you make of that overall?
Well, I don't have a problem with. I don't think it's a big deal that she asked Jane Fonda really about her plastic surgery. I don't know. It didn't bother me that questioning, but then to have this sort of a response to Jane maybe not liking her question, and then going on and talking about, I guess, is what happened.
Yeah.
It was very unsettling to watch. It made me, I felt like, it's the Today Show, and I know her that 9 o'clock hour is supposed to be a little different with her, but it was just a little jolting. Like, I felt like I could just turn on CNN and Fox and watch something like that. And then it's so weird to go from that, and then you go to like Kathy Lee and Hoda afterwards, and it's all nice and fun.
I know,
Very, very
seriously.
strange.
But you would think by the 15th hour of the Today Show, it's a little more light and fluffy.
Yeah.
But I guess I have to wait till the 16th with Hoda. Although I guess she's on like two different time years now. Wilson, she had the dagger eyes. I had to chill running down my spine when I watched it.
You have to remember, Jane Fonda's 80 years old, okay? My mother's 80 years old. There's a reason why, like, you got to sort of let them say weird stuff every once in a while. And let it roll.
Does your mom
But,
look like
you know.
Jane Fonda?
No, she doesn't.
My mom
she's
does.
even hotter
Really?
than Jane Fonda, yes.
And are they both
me,
all natural? Well, I'm
I don't
single,
even know where
brother.
you're going with this, but I would assume so.
Has she had work done?
Oh, natural. What does that mean? Oh, okay.
Oh, like no work.
Oh, no work. Okay.
Or nude.
No, no.
She nudist?
Blow your mother's spot on
No,
TV.
no. I don't think she's got any work done.
Pictures. Come on, breath hacks.
Very handsome woman.
My mom may have had work done.
You know what? I support her right to look as fabulous as possible.
too.
And you,
Jane Fonda's.
I won't say who said it on the commercial break, but they brought up a very good point on the table. I don't want to. They can say themselves, but one person on this table, and it's very true, said that Megyn Kelly may not be wanting to throw a stone as far as glass houses are concerned when it comes to plastic surgery. The proof is in past pictures on the old Schnauzeroonie.
I'm Team Megyn, by the way.
Okay, explain. Tell
Totally.
me no. I mean, I might be as well, but I want to hear what.
First of all, this was entering into the popular culture as Megyn Kelly's big mess up, and her own network associates were piling onto her about it. At some point, she's like, I want to stand up for myself. This woman goes out there all the time talking about aging. It was early in my career on the show. Maybe she didn't ask it exactly the right way. I didn't hear it. But the question certainly, Barbara Walters might have asked the same kind of thing. There's nothing off limits. I think it has something to do with the fact of who Megyn Kelly is, that she came back at her that way. And Fox News, this is good for ratings. This is good for the show. This is good for the network. I don't see any downside to it. And that's Megyn Kelly at her best. So
was it a little too much? I mean, was the Vietnam thing valid?
Too much for good ratings or too much for what? Like, everybody's
point.
That's a very
she spoke her mind.
perspective. And I do think that that's a good perspective. Do you mind if I jump in?
Do it, baby. Jump.
But like, I think on the one hand, like Megyn Kelly has this, I see her as kind of a mean girl. Like, she doesn't come off to me as like someone who I would want to be friends with.
You're part of the problem.
And especially, I am part of the problem.
That's my point.
And especially like the part of like her going after Jane Fonda with like a black square, like very official, scary outfit.
Oh,
like
those dagger eyes,
Like
man.
she didn't come in like wearing yellow. Like, come on, Jane Fonda, let's bury the hatchet. Like she came in like ready to bitch her out. And I think that if she wanted to just address the problem, yes, you've had plastic surgery, you've talked about it openly. Why do you have to get on me about it? I think Jane Fonda was definitely throwing a lot of shade at Megyn Kelly, maybe because of who she was. But for her to further Megyn Kelly, for her to further that point into the Vietnam thing, fuck off. Like, talk about the issue, talk about the problem. Don't go into the woman's past. She's 80. If she didn't want to talk about her plastic surgery, there's plenty of other things to talk about. She's got a great ass.
That's true. Thank you.
Let's just maintain the
Thanks for
conversation
helping us see
there.
both sides of both the point and Jane Fonda. From top to
There's
bottom.
like a narrative behind the scenes too. What I think is pushing this is she's getting the shit kicked out of her in like the New York Post and the media gossip columns about all the sort of dissension within her own show. I think she's just like, fuck it. I'm gonna swing back. What do I got to lose? And maybe it's a good look because that is sort of her real sort of what made her a star was this like combative Fox News personality, and she's had to mute that on the
Now
new
she's
show.
like, I'm
and
taking
so she kind of showed her what her real essence a little bit.
Well, it's just
spoke her mind. I mean,
I don't think anyone comes on
she's
looking
right.
back.
Jane Fonda is in a huge glass house about saying the wrong thing and all this stuff. So let it go already, Jane.
Yeah, exactly.
Jane Fonda can be a little gracious, or we can just be totally patronizing of 80-year-olds. I don't know.
Yeah,
I believe in the patronizing of elders. Yeah, elders.
Yeah, that's kind of a hobby of yours.
Yeah.
I
Let them get away with all the things.
Like playing pranks
Like
on
70 over and under 3 feet. Like, you can probably get away with all the things.
Yeah.
Well, it brings us up a good point because Barrett, like Megyn said, I'm going to be doing this hour of the Today Show, 15th, 16th hour, whatever it is, and I want to stay as far away from politics as possible, diving right into the fluff. But it seems as if she's just sort of like taking what she used to do to a politician and just applying it to someone that was in 9 to 5.
She hasn't learned how to pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Applying it to actors.
Yes,
And
exactly.
actors don't, I mean, being one myself, like, you don't go on the 17th hour of the Today Show to promote something and expect that kind of combative interview or those questions.
No
Like, it's-
kidding,
but,
yeah.
Maybe it should happen more often. Like,
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to be as outspoken as Jane Fonda is about certain things. Like, what was it that she came on the Emmys? It was with her and Lily Tomlin and Dolly Parton. They came out and it was right when everything was happening. Was it the Emmys?
That
When
almost
everything happened with Harvey Weinstein, when all that broke.
Yes.
And they were, she basically was just like, men, you fucking suck. And I remembered Lily Tomlin. I mean, it was something along those lines.
No, I'm just letting it wash over me. But
Do you think if she was bashing 80...
yeah, that's all men's
Was
response.
like, she was like, oh, hell no.
She didn't
Like,
know what
hair
to do.
done. Like,
Yeah,
my boobs. She was
sure.
like, I don't know what to do right now. This is uncomfortable. This is crazy, though, because, like, Lily Tomlin, isn't she famous for being a fucking asshole on set? Like, I remember all
like
that
lesbians,
video.
right?
I love lesbians.
Okay.
I remember all that video coming out after that movie, I Heart Huckabees, of her behind the scenes just, like, flipping her shit all the time.
How old was she?
And the director, I think the director wore down. I thought, that's how I read that. Like, that eventually he started, like, getting really hard on her.
Yeah.
I don't know his history, but I definitely blame Lily Tomlin, which made me sad.
I like seeing people on
her.
TV speak their mind.
Yeah.
That's when they're going to
Their actual
succeed. This kind
mind.
of watered down, homogenized Megyn Kelly is going nowhere. Nobody wants to watch it.
I agree
We'll
with
say, oh, that's better, Megyn, and we'll turn it right off.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, let her say it.
I enjoyed it.
I don't think you're wrong. I really don't think you're
You
wrong.
think I'm right?
Yeah. But I think that it's a personality thing. Like, I really hate to see women be mean to each other. I really hate to
a
see men
women
to
thing.
be mean to each other. I hate it
Men
when
like seeing women being mean to me
my
too.
my biggest thing is I really hate it when people attack the way other people look. Like, I feel like whenever you start talking about like plastic surgery, like that's a very like
personal attack. Like
Fonda talks about it. That's the thing.
she does talk about it, but like I don't know. There's always a time you can make it classy. Like you can bring it up.
Did you hear the question?
No.
The original question?
I think
She prefaced it with bitch, which I thought was way over the line.
She was like, "You're 80, you don't look it. Like, how do you feel about promoting a movie where like you're playing an 80-year-old?" And I think that kind of set off. Right?
Okay, yeah, and that makes sense.
Did I read that too quickly?
No, in the context of what she was talking about, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, I'm not even going to segue into this one. Now you got me thinking of sex. I'm like, how can I do Jane Fonda into alcoholism? Oh wait, Jane Fonda was an alcoholic, right?
Hey.
If Jane Fonda's lawyers are watching, I cannot confirm nor deny that she is a former booze hound.
Can't you just see them all in a room like, ooh, morning with Bill Schultz is about to start. Let's.
And they're drunk for the hour. Let's fire
Jane
up
Fonda
the
will talk to you
lawyers.
at 11:45.
I think every time you segue, you should just go, did you just segue? And just like how you
around
segue every single time you segue.
It's like a talking
Does it
to
ruin
a
it?
12-year-old.
Wait, me?
No, yes, you do that to me. Yes, exactly. Well, this one, because I don't know, I've got a lot of people that have gone to AA and they have varying opinions on it. This is in Vox.com, and essentially they sort of went over the statistics on how exactly successful AA might be. What the author said, German Lopez, that can't be real. I talked to experts who've researched 12-step facilitation treatment and AA, as well as people who attended the programs. My goal was to see whether the 12 steps really do help overcome their alcohol addictions. I should probably talk in my normal voice, as this is kind of a sad story. Inappropriate. All right, I'll keep it light. So many people die from alcoholism every year, guys. About a third of people maintain recovery from alcohol addiction due to the 12-step treatment. Another third get something out of the treatment, but not enough of full recovery. And another third get nothing at all. And more than 20 million people have a substance abuse disorder. God, I feel like it's more. Maybe it's just New York. Yeah, I mean, so basically, some people get something out of it, other people don't. Barrett, you're in an industry where I feel there might be some members in AA. As far as the acting community is concerned, overall, would you say, do they think that this helps, hurts, hinders, other H words I can't think of right now?
I have friends who, I think it's actually a testament to what the statistics you're reading. Some of them it helps and they are like true blue to that program, and others it has not, and they go about it their own way, staying sober.
Are they, when the ones that did not find that it worked, are they very down on AA, or?
No, just more like, this didn't work for me, it's not my thing, and I'm not going to do it.
Wilson, that's kind of to par for the course for a lot of the people that I know. Wilson, I've always thought that the fact that one of the steps is subscribing to a higher power, I thought was a little bit throwing religion on people that perhaps might not be religious. Anyway, that is my thought. Anyway, what do you think of this overall?
I think, whatever works,
Oh, man.
So this is cutting very close to home, and you're making me uncomfortable. Very weird topic.
Shall we start? Wilson, this is not a show.
Okay.
This is an intervention.
Exactly. I'm like, why is my mom here? This is strange.
Come in. It's okay. It's okay. It's time.
By the way, your aunt cannot have any of those snacks. That's just for the talent. I mean, do you know people? I'm trying to think of people.
I know anyone who's a drunk?
Yeah, I mean, do you know anyone who's not?
Friends.
But we have a lot of mutual friends. Like, I'm trying to think of someone that has actually worked.
I don't think you're supposed to say if they're an AA, by the way.
Well, I didn't say you had to give me specific names, sir.
It's initials. You have initials?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Initials. We can kind of. Have I known? I've known people that have gotten sober. I feel like a lot of people just turn it off one day, which is pretty wild. But people, it takes a lot of work, and you got to go to meetings, and I think it's just whoever in the most effective way to do it,
And well, like
I've never been in AA. I think I went to a meeting once just for laughs. As a joke.
It was for
Because I had
a
to, 'cause
story.
Bill said
See,
so,
it's that kind of
You're so
lies.
dark.
That's why we had your mom here.
Can I tell what I like about it?
I was going to say, perhaps the only industry where there's more people in AA than in journalism or acting as comedians.
And the bar business.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
I love the apologies. Like, at least twice a year I get an apology from some employee. I haven't heard her in like 12 years.
Yeah.
Quite often, I should say I love it. That's not nice. But and quite often, literally, they'll start to talk to me. And they'll break down in tears, apologize. And I took
Oh my
$25 out of the
God.
register in 1989.
God.
So,
Jesus.
but and it really happens all the time. And I guess it is cathartic for them, if that's the right word. And for some of them, it seems to work like any drug. I mean, you could say something about any drug or any treatment.
Right.
Works or doesn't work. But the people who it works for, they swear by it.
And that's such a good point, because that is definitely one of the 12 steps, is that you have to make amends or something, right?
gosh,
and
yeah.
and I've had
The best step.
Yeah, exactly. So, I've had friends that just went to rehab, didn't go do the AA thing, and I kind of wanted the apologies. The rehab, you don't have to do that. Like, I like people being like, sorry about that. Sorry for calling you the C word so many times. Usually they reserve it for women, but they did to me. I would have wanted the apologies, Samantha. How about yourself? What do you think of AA overall? Would you like to join me after the show?
Yes. I think this is actually my intervention. So I don't know. I think I have a lot of family members that are in Al-Anon, and I have
That's the one with the.
that's for people who are related or affected by people who are
Yes.
alcoholics
Okay,
or
gotcha.
narcotic addicts. And I have gone with them to many meetings, and every time I go, I always end up in tears. Always, because like you can't not feel that in the room. And like when you leave, you like kind of start like going over some of the stuff. Like, do I have a problem? Was this about me? But I think that it's a good program for the people that believe in it. Very similar to what you were saying. But I also feel like for the people that are in it for a long time, there's no like end game. Like it's not like
Any therapy.
Like a lot of therapy. Like and I do believe in therapy, but I do think that whenever you're kind of rehashing these bad moments, it sort of stays a little bit more present in your mind. And while I think on the one hand, from an alcoholic's perspective, maybe that's really good for them, so they know not to do certain things again because they have to remind themselves what they did, what they feel bad about, what they'll eventually have to make amends about. But on the other side of it, for the people that are kind of reliving this trauma, it's really difficult to stay in that mind space. So I mean, I don't know. It wouldn't work for someone like me who really needs like a goal. Like I need to be done with this.
There
So
needs
I
to be
can
an
move
end
on.
game?
There needs to be an end game for someone like me, like to move on. But that's a personal choice.
Well, I think what I will say is because I have many family members and friends in the acting community and outside. The problem is this addiction is there isn't an end game.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyone who is an addict, it continues. It's like a train that continues to go. And even though you get off of it and you're in a program, there's at any moment you can jump back on.
Right.
It never ends for them. So,
Right.
so I get AA in that it also is like a support community. Like,
Right.
yes, you're in that headspace and you're reliving these moments, and I'm sure that is hard. But at the same time, you have the support system of like, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to go
Right.
off,
Right.
the edge again, and I need your help. You have this community of people who can help you.
And they've been through it, so they're not judging you. And it also could be helping somebody else's sobriety. Like I do think it's a beautiful idea. I don't subscribe to it,
Right.
but that doesn't mean that I think it's bad. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you do whatever fucking works whenever you're in that place. Like if AA works for you, if therapy works for you, if nothing works for you, then you ride that out. Like I know a lot more people that have stopped cold and then started again. And the people that have stopped cold, I find they just replace the addiction with something else. Like they start smoking pot because they're like, it's pot. It's legal in most places, and then that's a whole nother situation.
Yeah. And so then they just laugh a lot.
Did you mean for this to be a light subject?
No, please. No, I think it's interesting because, like, a lot of the main criticisms I've always heard about AA, which I don't think are fair, is that it has a kind of a cult quality to it. But maybe if, like, you're that much of a drunk, that's what you need. Like,
Right,
maybe you
like
do
you
need
need-
mantras and,
Totally.
and...
I don't think it pushes a religious agenda. I do think that the people who began it, I can't remember what their names are because I can't remember names fucking ever. But the people who started it were religious, but they kind of tried to diffuse the religious aspects of it by saying higher power.
power,
And that higher power
yeah.
could be yourself. It could be your parent. It could be somebody that you look up to. And I also think that they try to dumb it down a little bit.
Higher power means something in the sky, doesn't it? Doesn't mean that.
I mean, that's kind of, yeah. I mean, I feel like they sort of look at you cross-eyed if you're just flat out tell them that you don't necessarily subscribe to any type of a higher power. Like, well, that's not one of the steps that you're doing.
Well, I do think that kind of disqualifies a lot of what they're teaching, which is if you don't believe in a higher power, ultimately you can't bring yourself to be accountable to something else other than yourself,
Right.
right?
Yeah, if my child had an alcohol problem, of course I would send him to AA. I would never rule that out. And if it didn't work for them, I would try something else. But
And do you notice, have you ever, this is probably a horrible thing to say, have you ever noticed a comedian that either went to rehab or AA and they're worse? Like they're not as good, they're not as talented, they're not as funny afterwards?
Yeah. I wouldn't blame it on AA, but there's this kind of like it's the cult-like thing, like the Mooney type program quality, and maybe some of them loosened up when they had a few drinks and they're tired without them. That's human, I mean.
Well, so that's, okay, so maybe it's not even necessarily the material, but just for the fact that they need a couple of pops every time they go on stage, and without that, do they ever get that back? Like, do they learn how to have a stage presence again if they didn't before?
Probably not.
Interesting, wow. Well, this has been a very depressing show.
To keep them on alcohol or drugs. It's like, I mean, there's also, I'm sure, more instances of people that finish AA and then are able to come back to who they were while they were on alcohol.
So I had a friend who was Manhattan dart champion. He was the best dart player in Manhattan, and then he quit drinking and he lost his game. He could never get it back. Never get it back.
Any stories of the alternative?
Yeah, it's basically darts and pool. The only one.
Maybe foosball too.
Yeah,
He also started
bowling.
hating chicken wings.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Yeah, anything at Chuck E. Cheese, although I'm not allowed there anymore.
Yeah, I heard about that. That was
Yeah.
Oh, then you
weird.
can't come to
One
any
more
birthday
Chuck E.
party.
Cheese.
Speaking of a place you don't want to drink at, guys. Can't emphasize that enough. Or give kids drinks, either. I'm told they frown on it. Chucky, you bastard. I know we're probably already, I mean, obviously we're sick of these stories overall, and maybe Aziz's story specifically, but we have some video, and Noam's here, I'd be interested in his take. So let's take a look. This is Joel McHale addressing Aziz Ansari and what he may or may not have done. I think TMZ. I I don't know if that's it or if the TMZ videos are below. I can just read the quote.
Read the quote, Bill.
I don't prepare so good.
For shit's sake. You got it.
I just send links and then go back to bed.
Ooh.
Anyway, he said, oh wait, no.
And Z's, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Do you think that he got the
Where
short
is
end
he?
of the stick here?
Well, I think when the actress that responded to what's the name of the actress that wrote the thing about the thing where it said it was probably just a really bad date.
Right. People are sort of conflating that with other
The problem is
instances of
that people will
misconduct.
read just the name and then just the accusation, and they don't find out anything more than that.
Okay.
So that's the problem. But it sounds like it was consensual.
Right.
So and you know the Me Too movement is tremendous and is awesome and needs to happen and continue forever.
Everyone does
but,
that.
But if someone had a bad date, then it's a bad date.
Okay. Another uncomfortable
So I
question.
think- Yeah.
Do you think James Franco should attend the Oscars?
He's so out of
Is he
breath.
nominated?
Most likely he will be.
Well, let's wait for the nomination.
Okay. If
All
he
right.
is.
Well, we can't predict the future.
Okay. Thanks, Joe.
I have to say, he was extremely accommodating for that TMZ guy.
I've never seen anyone do that before.
I know, like
Yeah.
he's helping the guy when he's falling. He's trying
Careful
to get
there.
him to-
That's like some Princess Diana shit right there.
Yeah, I was very impressed. Although I'm of a certain age now, where the entire time I was just looking at him, thinking, "Are those hair plugs?"
Really?
Yeah, but also, but still thinking about all these words that he may or may not have said. Again, paying attention to his scalp. I'll just go across down the table, Barrett. You do like I don't think he said anything wrong, and I actually kind of pretty much agree with him. But I'll tell you.
Hey, look at this. You're right.
Oh my! See, thank
Wow,
you.
you got a good eye.
Thank you. I am obsessed with it. My
Yeah.
dad started bothering me when I was 15, so that's all I think about.
You said you linked to that? Look into that.
Look at, oh my God, that is shocking. Thank you guys.
Good job.
Investigate them. You know what? You should really use those amazing skills for something a lot more worthwhile. That would be better done on like a 60 Minutes or something like that instead of a douchey morning show where I'm talking about hair plugs.
Where else do
Why
you
don't you
use-
help the common good?
Where else do
judge
you
their
need
life
to,
choices,
to
Bill.
Google something really quick? There's nowhere else.
Well, that's very true, especially something this relevant. Barrett, like I wonder, are we gonna get to a point where I would assume we would already be there, where anytime an actor is asked about this, he just shuts the fuck up. I mean, you look at like Bad Date. Well,
You
sorry,
have to. I mean, even as a woman, you have to. Like I want to say like what he said. I think this movement is awesome and needs to happen forever. You have to say that.
Yeah, that's the preface before.
Because
anything
if you
else.
don't, you get annihilated.
Yes.
So and I happen to. I do happen. I mean, like, kind of making fun of that statement because we all have to say it. But I do believe that. But it's seriously like if you don't say it, you're screwed. But what was the question? I have to say I saw Joel McHale in the gym several months ago here in New York. That man is ripped.
Oh, what the hell?
He
Sam
does,
was mumbling to me how cute she thought he
It's like,
was.
geez, he's
instead of
cute.
like-
Out of breath, but cute.
he does Ironman triathlons. and stuff.
jeez.
Anyway, yeah. After I saw him at the gym, I was like, what is he doing? And then I was like, oh, he works out a lot.
All right,
Anyway,
I need his plug guy and his personal
Okay.
trainer. Can we Google that, guys?
He's married.
Oh, good.
I mean, well,
So he's married.
yeah, he's married.
Oh, wow, then. Come on,
Cover
break up.
that one.
Checked on that too. Yeah, no, what was the question?
Well, actually, have you noticed, I mean, this is all still a little fresh, I assume, but have you noticed any changes in the industry already? Like, have things turned around at all? Because I'm assuming, like, this kind of stuff was so constant that when it stops, it's noticeable.
Yeah, I mean, when I've been working, I've noticed that fellow actors I've worked with, like, it's not, now you can tell it's like you can make, there's always been like, you pass dirty jokes around, you're sitting around in between takes and it's fun, and I've never had a problem with that. I've noticed now it's a little more buttoned up, and actually, I think that's a shame. I understand it, I guess it needs to happen, but that's gone now, and that's, that used to be fun to me, but it was also, I was comfortable with it, if some actor that said, like, made a dirty joke around me or said something that I found creepy, then I wouldn't have been comfortable with it. So it's just, I don't know. I don't know really what I'm saying, but
No, it's interesting because
I do think there is a problem. I agree with what he said in that I don't know why this has started happening, but I think it's because it makes news and it's a frenzy. When someone makes an accusation, like anyone can make an accusation, it is printed and that person is fucked.
Yes, and it's just sort of, and there's no.
They're not checking. They're not checking the story. There's no due process. It's just like you're screwed.
Yeah, and this is.
I hope that it leads to that. I mean,
Yeah,
I do-
this is the first time I've sort of noticed a backlash on the accuser.
Yeah.
I mean, that hasn't happened so far. I mean, up until now, I think.
in the last 6 months.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a new one every day. But yeah, like Wilson, it's getting to the point. I mean, like, if now bad sex is a crime, I'm in big trouble.
That's true.
Yes.
I've heard stories.
What do you think about this overall? I've been babbling too much.
Yeah, what everyone just said. I mean,
He's afraid to say the wrong thing.
I mean, it's
He's
like
got a career to worry
I
about.
feel bad every time he's on. He's got like 20 Me Too stories.
I'm like,
Chris, you're
I
fine.
mean,
I've
I think
worked with you.
this one, this one was interesting because I think guys read it as a guy, and going like, have I ever done this? Or like, is this wrong?
It was the first,
Women
like,
were
really
like,
relatable.
look, I've hooked up with dudes I wasn't that into. Fuck this. Fuck this guy.
Can I sue them for
This is not, you know. So it's interesting to me, like reading about it on Twitter, all the people that are like pro and against. But I think this one struck a chord more than others just because it's so murky. It's like, they hooked up, basically, right? And, you know, she blew up his spot and, you know, he is fucked. I mean, but I think people that read the story are like, okay, like what's...
And, yeah, I mean,
a lot
you
of
hate
people
to
are,
say
but again,
that.
a lot of people aren't, you know,
Yeah.
so it depends on what your vantage point is. You know, I totally get, you know, why women would read that and say, oh, that is fucked, like, you know, whatever. I don't know.
Well, Noam, you know Aziz. I mean, what do you think's going to happen here? I mean,
yeah.
Well, I don't know Aziz that well, and I think he's going to be fine. But I think that they're gutting.
you think he's going to be fine?
Yeah, I think they're gutting feminism in a lot. Like, for instance, I've slept with women because I didn't want to hurt their feelings. I slept with women because who hasn't? And isn't that like, in a lot of ways, it's harder to say no to a woman because a woman expects, like, if a guy doesn't want to have sex with you, like, what the fuck is wrong, right? Like,
I don't think I've ever heard a man say that.
every guy will tell you that. You
I love
don't wanna
this
hurt her
so much.
feelings.
Yeah.
I had women pull my hand and put it on their genitals. I mean, all these to me.
Another Me Too right now.
Well, to me, this is all very complicated, all actually very easy, all of it, which is that if there's no coercion, it's none of our business. And coercion can be in the workplace. Like if my daughter was working at a restaurant and a manager kept giving her a back rub. She's like, Dad, I don't want to lose my job. I'd be furious. I'd go down and say, get your fucking hands off. But if she said, Dad, I was hanging out with Louis C.K., drinking and smoking pot till 2 in the morning. Then I went back to his hotel room and he got sexual. But sweetheart, you know, what do you
expect?
You know, did he force you? Did he block? No, you know, I can't.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to navigate life.
That's a great point.
And I think that's it. That's the beginning and the end of it. Aziz didn't coerce her in any way.
From her
He
own
gave him 2
account.
blowjobs, so you know, like it's a little,
Yeah, no
definitely
kidding.
mixed signals.
Yeah.
What do you like? I mean, I don't get it.
But I agree with you. I don't think it's going to blow back on as hard. I think he's going to be the only person who's going to get out of this movement unscathed.
What did he do wrong?
I mean, he really wasn't. We've talked about this before. I don't think he did anything wrong. I mean,
He even went for a condom.
if I could call out every guy that I've been on a date with and been like, I should have left an hour ago, I'd have a long list. I mean, that is just like if you don't know to get out of it and take responsibility for the situation that you're in, that you put yourself in. And I'm not saying that this is the entire movement. You know how supportive I am of this and how much
Somebody
I
told me in
really,
the green room. I was
but like how I really do hope that this changes things in a really huge way. But for this situation in particular, I think as a woman, you've been in this situation 100 times and you've been like, you feel the energy change in the room and you go, I'm not going to be here anymore. This is getting weird. And if I know anything, it can get weirder. So I'm going to leave. And if you don't have the ability to take responsibility for yourself, your situation, the situations that you're in, while I do realize there's a societal pressure not to, you're going to find yourself in some shitty situations.
Can I add something else?
Oh, yeah.
And these reporters are letting us down because in both these cases, the Louis case and the Aziz case, they never asked the women, why didn't you leave? Why didn't you? Like if she said, I didn't leave because I was really scared he was going to hit me. I would say, oh, okay, that sounds like it was bad.
And I do think, yeah.
They just after the fact they overlaid. Oh, women are scared because they're scared. Well, if you were scared of him, why would you go? Like if you were afraid you can't say no to Aziz, I'm sorry. Why would you go home with him to begin with?
And I do think that there's this sense of like, as a woman, we know that whenever you're in a scary situation, you freeze. And if the fear is that you're gonna be rejected, if the fear is that you're gonna be physically hurt, I mean, either way, it's the same response of freeze. So I think that there is some understanding there. Like if someone's doing something like defiling themselves in front of you, you are gonna have a moment where you're going like, oh fuck, is this really happening? Like, am I really in this situation? Is this a joke? Like, what's going on? And I think we've spoken about this a few times.
I loved you and Louis.
Grace undercut that because Grace said, well, I didn't realize until years later or whatever that I was assaulted. Like,
Yeah.
so if I was
Talking about Grace from the Aziz story.
if I was a reporter, I'd be like, do you think he should be in jail?
I don't.
Say he assaulted you?
No, this is not.
What do you mean by assault?
I think that she probably felt something
why don't-
that was recollecting something else. I do think that she had a real feeling of fear and didn't know how to deal with it.
I think that, but she didn't say that.
But she did. She said she felt assaulted.
No, but she didn't say that while it was happening she was scared.
Right.
We don't know what
She
it
just like
she
kind of
says,
followed the situation.
She did say a
She
couple
was
things.
giving nonverbal cues. I don't even know what that
Well,
means.
that's because verbal cues were out of the question.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it is such a sticky situation because I can see it from both sides. So
I don't see it from her side. I'm trying to.
I think from her
This one
side.
was a rough one, I gotta say.
And from her
Louis
side,
CK
like
one.
no, the
Aziz.
Aziz Ansari one.
Louis, I can kind of see from both sides.
Oh yeah.
I don't see this one.
From the Louis C.K. one, I totally get why the women froze and weren't able to leave because I think that that's a very.
They were able to leave.
But I feel like they didn't feel like they could.
Well,
and I don't know
incorrect.
that he
And listen, I interviewed the woman who did the Louis C.K. story, and I asked her.
did the story or did the
Yeah,
accusing?
Melina Rizek.
Okay.
I said, the rumor was that he blocked the door.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ask them if he blocked the door? She goes, yeah, I asked them. And she said, no, didn't block the door at all.
Yeah.
Why didn't you print that? I didn't think it was relevant.
Wow.
Really? I forgot that part because I listened to
think
that
it was
one.
relevant.
Interesting.
Didn't think it was
Wow,
relevant.
that's
That's
key.
upsetting.
That's
Sorry,
interesting.
this is an
That's upsetting.
agenda.
And
This is
that's
not journalism.
That is also not journalism. Yeah.
No, I'm saying that.
Yeah, that's not a fair assessment of what happened.
It was stuff that she said to me. I couldn't believe how she gave herself
and it's
away.
someone's career. I mean, it's a big deal.
It also, yeah, I mean, you almost wonder if we're at a point where reporters are nervous about asking follow-up questions, which is, I guess, kind of ridiculous.
Can I just add something about the CC thing? Peggy Noonan wrote a great piece in the Wall Street Journal about it. I think the title was "We Need More Gentlemen in the World."
New York.
And but there is and in it she describes, which I see all the time, is there's also this dynamic of he's famous. And I see it with friends of mine, like they're famous, or guys that I've dated who are famous. Like they have this sort of mentality. I'm not saying he did. She was just giving an example of like, okay, I can get a lot of ass. This is what you can. And women want to hang out.
Is that why she was flirting with Aziz while she was on a date with another guy? That's how it started, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying that happens all the time. Like that just happens. People want to be around people who are famous and date them or hang out with them, party with them. And
you're right. There is that sense of like, well, he does this all the time. Why is he giving me the attention? Is it the expectation that I need to meet? Yeah. That's fair. Sad.
Yeah. I'm just saying that's just something that I thought of that is.
My advice to guys is to do what I do. Be broke and not like leaving your apartment, and you are fucking safe. Bored, but safe.
How come you never give your opinion?
Huh?
What do you think about Aziz?
Because, I didn't think it was, I mean, look, the bottom line is, who am I to say? I'm a entitled white male.
No.
But no, I didn't see anything in there to me that said assault. To me, it looked like a bad date. And it looked like two people that were real awkward with each other, and one person saw this going on and probably wanted to go to maybe a more established outlet, and they probably wouldn't take it. So she went to babe.net, and I believe they had outed her now, have they not?
We definitely want to put her
We're next on the list, Bill, right after Babe.
First of all, call me, of course.
Morning with Bill Schultz.
Yeah.
You're on the list.
We're this close.
We'll treat you with the utmost of respect, and of course I'll change my mind and agree with you if you come on. All right. Absolutely no scruples whatsoever. Guys, Joe Scarborough and has all you need to know is the sketch and his thoughts on said sketch. Saturday Night Live has often been making fun of with Kate McKinnon and Alex Moffat as Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski. I can never pronounce it correctly. Thank you. They've been continually doing a sketch on Saturday Night Live that sort of, and I almost don't even think it really overdoes what they do on the show as far as the flirting over the top wise is concerned. Let's take a look at the clip.
Thank goodness for a clip.
That song live last night at Prohibition. Mika was there.
I come because I have to.
You come because I tell you to.
Oh my God. Can we not be this self-aggrandizing this early in the morning? You're disgusting.
And you're foul.
I'm gonna barf all over you.
Let's get to the news.
Joe, it was sort of an odd statement. He said, when asked about it by the Daily Beast, he said, quote, I think we would probably enjoy them if we didn't have children, saying of the sketches. We get uncomfortable because of our children, so it makes us wince, okay? He then went on to talk about his new single, Stand, which people believe to be about the women's marches, don't you know? Yes, he's got his own band, guys. If we have a clip of that, let's not play it. And when told that it was receiving mixed reviews, I don't even understand this. Online, he said, it's always a tale of two cities. What? Barrett, obviously they say if you're parodied on Saturday Night Live, if anything is a compliment. I don't necessarily know if that's the case with some people these days, but I think that what do you think of their dynamic overall? I liked it when we didn't know they were about to be married.
Right.
It was still secret.
Right, yeah. Unfortunately, I've never seen their show. So.
That was it. That was basically it.
Wait, so they're together? That was hysterical.
Engaged.
Yeah, it is uncanny how they are.
And I kind of like, I don't know, I mean, how old are their children? Like, their children up watching SNL?
40, yeah.
It's not their children. They both have children from previous marriages.
Got it. Well, whatever. I mean, I don't understand why people these days, like, when you see something like that, that's funny, have a sense of humor. Like, I've always said last year, or whenever this started, when Alec Baldwin started doing Trump saying, that wasn't funny, I didn't think that was funny at all. What you should do is say, that was hilarious. I'd love for Alec Baldwin to come to the White House and have dinner sometime. I love that. That was great.
And they never do.
That was an Obama move. Yeah. That would have,
show some humility.
Steer into the skid.
Humor. Yeah.
Wilson, there was a Sam and Diane quality to Joe and Mika back in the day. Will they? Won't they? Probably they were the entire time, and we just didn't know it.
No, they can't.
Yeah, and now they're actually divorced and apparently, I believe, are engaged. But they talk about it now.
Oh, so they were cheating. I'm sorry. They were cheating on their significant other?
Allegedly, Samantha. What have we learned from the legal team of Joe Scarborough?
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes.
I don't know that we know that they were cheating. I would be careful.
No, that's why I said yes.
But I love that you're like,
Seriously,
whoa.
Take it easy.
I always like to preface it with some say. say.
Some say.
No,
Accurately.
I don't think we can use that legally either. But
But that would make sense why they wouldn't want their children. Like, I mean, if you were... All right, now it all comes together with my little brain.
Yes, don't worry, my brain's littler. That's why I needed a sketch beforehand. So I can say
Maybe it's
pay
like a
attention.
wince. Maybe it's like, oh, that's funny, but ugh.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to be with him while he was watching it, definitely. Well, maybe I would. I can't decide. But I mean, are they kind of? Is the magic gone? I mean, now that we know that they're totally doing it, is it no longer fun watching that dynamic?
Don't want to show it. I mean, I could care less about those two. So are they dating? Good for them. I mean, if you're on Saturday Night Live, like that's great. Good for them.
I want to see them do an impression of you.
Chris is so much cooler. Tell us about falconry.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get down to the brass tacks here.
All right, we'll get to Jesse James Gunn in a second. Gnome,
I do watch Joe and Mika.
Well, yeah, what do you think? Is it too much? Too little?
I think the show. You watch it. The show's gotten really boring.
Yeah, it's kind of sable.
Used to be she was, and I did speak to somebody on the Morning Joe cast one time, like 5 years ago, and this was the way it was felt at the time. That she was kind of a dummy, and you could tell she would say something dumb, and Joe at that time would join in with his body language on the side of the people who thought she was saying something ridiculous.
Right.
Now he's got to pretend that her opinion is. She's gotten a little better, I have to admit, but in general, he has to kind of pretend that she didn't say something ridiculous. So that got boring. And at the same time, if it's relevant, the whole show is a personal grudge against Trump now.
Yes.
Which is fine, except that there's no debate on the show anymore, which is what the show is known for.
Yes.
So now because used to be Joe would face off against Mika and the other, whatever it is. Now they're all on one side, and they don't call in anybody anymore, like a Dershowitz or a Glenn Greenwald or anybody, or somebody from the Wall Street Journal editorial page, or somebody who's making, principled defenses of certain aspects of Trump's record, whatever it is. They're not interested. So I don't watch it anymore for that reason.
And also the sexual chemistry is kind of disgusting. He also meant to say that as well. So I'm gonna bring it back.
It's just bland. It's just bland. I don't see the sexual chemistry really.
Oh, I do.
I just see it as
I really do.
Wait,
Sam, you've never seen this, I assume, so I should just move on, correct?
you can literally see his wheels turning. Like, I don't want to offend. I don't want to go home and have to hear it now.
No, there's definitely that element.
That's what I'm saying, so he shuts up.
He definitely tries not to get himself in trouble. Chris Wilson reported on one Jesse James, not the famed bank robber. He's been dead for 100 years, you dumb fucks. The guy who was on Monster Garage had some weird sexual peccadillos, namely that he liked having sex with women with Nazi tattoos. He is the famed bike builder, and he just built a luxury 45 for our own commander-in-chief. Wilson, tell me about this. What's going on here?
So Jesse James has sort of reinvented himself as a gunsmith, and he makes these, actually kind of beautiful weapons, and he made one for Trump because they're buddies. He was on Celebrity Apprentice, and, Jesse's like, he goes on Alex Jones and all that stuff. He's an unabashed Trump supporter, so, but, the story really is about the gun and stuff, and, he actually shot me an email and was like, "I'm making this gun for Trump. Do you want like the scoop?" I was like, "Oh, sure, okay." That's basically how it went. So we just had the weirdest thing. He lives in Austin. We had a phone chat about this, and I was like, you made this Trump gun. What's like your dream gun? What do you make if you could pick a gun that you could make anyone for? And he said he wants to make a Harold and Maude set. 2 pistols with the movie Harold and Maude, okay?
Right.
He's like obsessed with the movie Harold and Maude, which I never would.
I would not have seen this answer.
So, and he went into great detail about it. The Jaguar is going to be on this, and Maude is going to be on this one, and I was like, this is incredible.
That's
He's making
unbelievable.
one for Kid Rock, for Eric Clapton. He made one for Brad and Angelina. Like, he makes these, like, impossibly kind of beautiful, bespoke kind of, some go for like $100,000.
I was just about to ask how much they
Yeah.
are.
Oh, yeah.
The ones that are Damascus steel, which is the kind of steel they make samurai swords out of, they're super expensive, so.
Well, I mean,
Nice.
It's weird.
Something else.
even as anti-gun...
Oh, no, it's an interesting sort of substance. I was just in South Carolina last weekend, and for this sort of sportsman's thing, and they were selling $150,000 shotguns there. That were just, these custom things that are made in England, and there's a world of people who collect.
My father-in-law is like a huge gun collector, and he is always trying to be like, Sam, you guys can take this one in your house. It's an antique, and I'm like, no.
Well, so you still need a license for those bad boys. Or just take it and we'll edit that part
I mean,
out.
not that it would be illegally in my home, but yeah.
Well, and Barrett, like, as anti-gun as a lot of people in Hollywood are, I feel like most actors and actresses have guns.
Yeah.
I mean, when I hear them in interviews a lot of times, they'll let that slip, then while they're against it,
Yeah.
since everyone else has them. I mean, do most of your friends have firearms?
I think it's like, so many of my actor friends are women, and I guess a few of them have guns, but not.
I get it.
But a lot of my guy actor friends, I think I would say almost all of them have a gun. At least, not necessarily that they carry, but they have one in their home.
Well, there's
and
so
I've
many
never had-
shooting
they're
ranges
trained.
outside of
They're
LA.
trained.
Yeah, and they're trained, so it's not like they're like buy guns, like they actually
They're
like.
not like necessarily gun collector. I mean, my home in Alabama, our farm is like an arsenal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. I went home last year.
Blast something in
My
Birmingham
dad
with you.
pulls out, like we're at dinner. He's like, like, check this out. And he pulls out this bullet that's like literally this long. I'm like, what is that? He's like, it's a bullet. I'm like, what's it for? And he goes, I bought a sniper rifle. And I'm like, why? Like,
Terrifying.
why do you need a sniper rifle?
Why
You know?
not? Those varmints aren't going to kill themselves from 800 feet away.
I talk about this with my father-in-law all the time. Like, I'm like, okay, the world is ending. You're ready for it. You've got all the guns. Why? like, do you really want to survive in this post-apocalypse? Like, I just...
It's real easy. They're cool.
Yeah.
That's the secret.
Yeah, I
The real
mean,
secret-
every week. Oh,
the real
God.
secret to guns is not even self-protection, First Amendment. It's just because they're fucking.
Oh
cool.
my God!
They're
Yes,
cool. They're fun to
yes,
shoot.
1,000
That's it.
I
times.
agree
Yes.
with you. Like, I do think they're cool, and I almost like Jesse James a little bit more because of this. Like, make it an art, make it something interesting, make it something more elevated than just like, oh, I like to shoot stuff, which is fun. But
Yeah, well, and like again, like no, it seems like it's a social event to go to some of these shooting ranges in LA. I mean, it's all the fabulous people there with their little manicured fingers around. I don't know, an AK-47.
I don't know anything about guns. The word bespoke, like I never heard that word until like 6 months ago, and I've heard it like 50 times.
Isn't it just
I try to work it in every conversation.
Did you know that word 2 years ago?
It's it's
one of these
custom. It's
words
another
that
word for
just
custom. You throw it in.
No, I know. It just came out of nowhere. Now everybody knows it. I'm like, oh, I have to look it up. Anyway, but I want to be you guys. Like now, since you have people in your family who are into guns, do you feel like want to defend them a little bit when you hear how like some Easterns will like disparage them or call them deplorables? Like we just don't understand. You more because. In Alabama, it's really a way of life.
It is a way of life, and our home is on a farm. We're on a farm
Sure,
of 25 acres, and it's like we're in the middle of nowhere. So that also it's just sort of for protection purposes in a way. I get like the mentality.
They're not all rubes in Alabama, are they?
No, I mean, not at all. It bothers
hear.
me. It's a huge like I can't stand when I watch Bill Maher. I think he cuts down Southerners all the time.
Yeah, he did himself any favors on that show.
Stereotypes them, saying how they're dumbasses and dumb and all the time, and it bothers me. Some of the most intelligent people I have ever met in my entire life are Southerners.
yeah.
I find that usually just the dumb people are from PA. That's where Wilson's from.
Walked right into that one.
I apologize. He was sitting there and didn't deserve any of it. He wasn't even walking. Well, it's a good sign that this went by so quickly, I guess. Is there anything you guys want to plug, prescribe, or promote? Before I should have told you. It's probably too late, but we should go to 9 to 5 after talking about Jane Fonda, Dolly Parton, and Lily Tomlin, you guys. And also, it's an amazing song. But anything you guys want to promote or anything like that?
Sherrod doing any shows at the Comedy Cellar coming up? I don't know. If he is, I'll promote that for him.
Oh, that Sherrod always needs more
Comedy Cellar
promotion.
in general.
God
If you're
damn.
ever in New York, it's the best place to go for comedy. You never know who's going to show up.
Oh,
it is the
legendary.
best.
Well, they're not our most important. They're dropping like flies. Louis, Aziz, I don't know who's next. But you know who's going to show up? Nobody.
I may not be the biggest fans of them right now, but if they showed up, I wouldn't boo them
Oh,
off the
yeah.
stage.
Oh, we didn't even get to it, but yes, Bill Cosby was on stage a couple nights ago, and I didn't see anyone leaving that
Right at the cellar.
restaurant.
Not whoa.
Nope said he had an open
Only
invite.
doing people who have been
Sure, it was
accused
a black
of assault.
neighborhood. I don't know.
Gnome said it was an open invite. He was introducing him to all the waitresses. It was really weird. I condemned it.
Specialty drinks all night.
Yes. But, yeah, anything else that you guys want to promote, prescribe, anything like that?
Maxim.com, of course.
Yes, check out more pictures of the 45 for 45. That was pretty cool. Sam, Barrett, anything we didn't get to?
Yeah, Barrett, go ahead. I have
All my stuff is coming up. Yellowstone, the TV show I just finished shooting. That's going to be on the Paramount Network.
What's Kevin Costner like?
He's lovely. Most of my stuff. My character, I'm married to I'm married to Danny Houston. My character is married to
Very method
Danny
of you,
Houston's
yes.
character. So I work mostly with him and Kelly Riley. But it is a talk about like it's going to be an amazing show. I'm quick to say when stuff I'm doing is kind of like it's okay. You might like it, you might not.
I love that.
This is going to be really, really cool. I'm really excited to be a part of it. So and then you can also see me on American Housewife on ABC.
And you're also saying the Paramount Network is producing a lot of high quality.
Yeah.
Like, that's interesting, too.
Yeah, they just debuted the network this week, and tomorrow night is their first big scripted drama. It's called Waco, and it's about everything that went down.
Oh, yeah. I've seen the
Stars
trailers for
Michael
that.
Shannon,
Yeah.
Michael Shannon and Taylor Kitsch and John
Is he
Leguizamo.
David Koresh? Michael Shannon?
No, Taylor Kitsch is.
Oh, cool.
Michael Shannon plays the head of the FBI, or I believe, or the FBI negotiator in the whole situation, and John Leguizamo, I forgot who his character is.
Juan Fu?
Yes, that's
Yes,
who he is.
excellent. Excellent. Going with what you know.
They mix it up.
Yeah,
They want to appeal to all people.
I think Michael Shannon should be made an honorary FBI agent for how many times he's played one.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
Does that happen?
huh?
Does that happen?
Yeah, oh, totally.
Okay, cool.
You can be an honorary doctor. Why the fuck not? All right, well, guys, thank you so much. Please come back. And,
I'll see you tomorrow.
Enjoy, yes, and you will see me tomorrow. And what was I going to say? And enjoy the free coffee, too. Gonna put that up. You have it, might as well drink it.
There it is.
Awesome. Thank you.
Have you talked to Jack, this porn star?